A very warm welcome in the class of Basic Properties of GCD, which is coming under Mathematics 3. Myself Rupak Bhattacharjee, Assistant Professor, Department of Mathematics, GIS College of Engineering. Our prerequisite for today's class is nothing but the continuation of the discussion of GCD and to go into a little deeper regarding the properties of GCD. So it is obvious that we have to have some idea on basic number system to understand the problems and the discussions. Parallelly, it is also very important for us to revisit the idea of Euclidean algorithm for finding out the GCDs and obviously the benefits of Euclidean algorithm over other processes, which was elaborately discussed in the last class. And we also need to revisit the properties of prime numbers, because not only the primes, in this particular lecture, co-primes, that means relatively prime numbers, plays a vital role. So in this way we are going to discuss this class onwards. So just to revisit on the Euclidean algorithm, what we see that we are directly going to the example of using the Euclidean algorithm, the GCD of 124 and 348. So if this is two numbers, these are the two numbers in our target, what Euclidean algorithm tells that here the algorithm tells that we have to start with the original numbers. Obviously we will take the bigger one and we will divide it by the lesser one, and then we will get some remainder, and in each and every step we will do a recursive process by dividing the next to the last remainder by the last remainder. So it will go on until and unless we will get a remainder 0, and there we will stop. And the Euclidean algorithm tells us that the last stage remainder is going to be the GCD of that particular two numbers. So if we concentrate on this example, what you see, look at this. As two numbers are 124 and 348, we can write 348 by this process. So we get 100 as the remainder. So we will now divide 124 by 100, and the corresponding representation will be 124 is equal to 1 into 100 plus 24. So in this step what we see that 24 is the remainder. So now we will divide 100 by 24, and the corresponding representation will be 100 is equal to 4 into 24 plus 4. So look at this, what we are following the process to get this one, we are following the same process to get this one, we are following the same process to get this one. That means it is nothing but one approach of algorithm. And here we will divide 24 by 4, and here we get what you see that we are getting the remainder as 0. So it means it is divisible, and as it is divisible there is no need to proceed further because it is not also required and possible. So the remainder in the last step, non-zero remainder where we get, is going to be the GCD of the corresponding two numbers from where we had started. So the GCD of 124 and 348 will be 4. Clear? Now before proceeding for the next step, you know that we can write that GCD by MA plus NB form. So here also you can write 4 by M into 124 plus N into 348, where M and N belongs to the set of integers. This process, this technique is elaborately discussed in the last class, so I am not going to show it here. If you need or if you have really any confusion, you can just go back to the last discussion and see how we are proceeding it. It is nothing but just some backtracking approach with some logic from these steps. Okay, so now what we get, we are taking two numbers a and b, those who belongs to z means here the set of integers, and a and b both are not equal to 0. Okay, now it tells us the following hold. What is the following? There are two conditions. Please concentrate on this because here we start the properties of GCDs, but before that you can treat it as a very important information related to the GCD of two numbers. What we are saying, that there exists u and v in z. Z means set of integers, such that GCD of AB can be written as AU plus BV, what is already discussed in the last slide. So GCD of AB can be represented as AU plus BV, but more importantly that GCD of AB is the smallest positive integer. Please concentrate on this term. It is the smallest positive integer representable in the form of AM plus NBN or NB with mn in z. Means when you are taking a and b and when you are getting m and n, then am plus nb is the smallest, is going to create the positive integers. Among them the smallest one is the GCD. Clear? And as you know that from our syllabus construction background, we are not going to emphasize or prove, but we will verify this obviously with some examples. And the second property tells us that if C is any integer such that C divides A and C divides B, then C will obviously divide GCD of A and B. So let us check. So if we take suppose 3 and 3 divides 9 and 3 divides 15. So here C is equal to 3, A is equal to 9 and B is equal to 15. Now what we want to check, whether C divides GCD of A and B or not. So we have to first find out what is the GCD of A and B. GCD of A and B is 3. Look at this. So obviously C divides GCD of A and B for this example. Now you can ask, let's say it is true for this problem, it may not be. So obviously we need some proof, but the proof is not going to be discussed over here. You can check with another problem or some other numbers you want to take from the set of Z. Now for the verification of the first property, let us check this example. What they are taking, A is equal to 20 and B is equal to 12. So obviously GCD will be 4. Now 4 can be written as AU plus BV, that means 4 can be written as AU. AU means 20U plus BV means 12V. That means you will get U and V from Z such that this can be done. And look at this, you can find it out. It is the help with the help of Euclidean algorithm, but we are not going to show it. We are just directly going to write it, that we can write. So what we can do, we can write it 4 is equal to 20 into U plus 12 into V. So obviously we can write it as 20 into minus 1 plus 12 into 2. So you will get 4. So obviously it is, there is a mistake, it will be 2. Now in GCD theorem we can have presented this one, but the main important observation over here is that it is not unique, because 4 can be written as 20 into 2 plus 12 into minus 3. So look at this, these two, this minus 3, all are from the set of Z. So this is not the unique representation, but it can be represented. And the moreover part, this tells us that from this example what we can see, that take any integer k of the form k is equal to 20m plus 12n. Why? Because 20u plus 12v, if it gives you 4, that is the smallest positive integer representable in the form. So we are taking all possible. So 20m plus 12n, but look at this, 20 is divisible by 4, 12 is divisible by 4, so we can write this k as 4 into 5m plus 3n. So as k is written as of the form 4p, that means 4 divides k, so this 4 will divide k, that means k is divisible by 4. It indicates that if k is also positive, because it is the smallest positive integer representable, so if k is positive and if k is written as 4 into p, then obviously k will be greater than 4. That implies 4, which is the GCD over here, is the smallest integer, positive integer, which can be representable in the form of am plus bn. I think now it is clear. So proceeding further, what we get? The properties of GCD. So what is stated? It is a very basic one. GCD of AB is equal to GCD of BA. So you know that if you just take the reverse thing, it will get the same thing. And there are the general terms of the representation, that if we take GCD of continuation of some numbers, and if we take any reversal of that or swap them, it will be having the same GCD. Next property tells us that if we take GCD of AB and the GCD of minus A and B, or GCD of A and minus B, or GCD of minus A minus B, in all the cases the GCD will be same. These are very basic properties. You please test all these properties by your own choice. The next property tells us that it is important very. So GCD of AB is equal to GCD of A comma B plus AN. So if you take suppose A is equal to 12 and B is equal to 15, then GCD of this A comma B will be 3. We know that. Now if I want to find out GCD of A comma B plus AN, where n belongs to Z, and suppose I am taking n equal to 2, then what we will get? GCD of A is taken as 12 comma B is taken as 15 plus A into n, that means 24. So what you are getting, I am just skipping one line, GCD of 12 comma 15 plus 24 means 39 and 2 and 3. Now look at this. If you just find out the GCD of 12 and 39 by any one of the method, you will get that 12, 39, 36, 3, 12, 12 GCD same. But why I am keeping the gap over here? Look at this, divisible by 3, divisible by 3, divisible by 3. So both of them will be cumulatively divisible by 3, and the common thing what you are going to get, which will be the greatest one, will also be 3. But this is not the proof, this is the verification technique. So proceeding further, we get the fourth property as, if M divides GCD of A1 up to AK, you can take it first 2 or 3 numbers, then we will go for the general one. Then M into GCD of A1 by M, A2 by M, that means all the internal numbers will be same. So let us test it for the same example. If we get M is 3 over here, and obviously we are seeing that the GCD of 12 and 15 is equal to 3, so M divides this one, this condition is satisfied. Then M into GCD of A1 by M means 12 by 3, that is 4, and 15 by 3, that is 5, will be M into 1. We get M equal to 3, so again we are getting 3, which is same. So look at this, you are going to get the same thing of this particular way, that M into GCD of this is nothing but GCD of them, that is 3. You can test it for other parameters also. Now proceeding further, what we get, the next property is very important, that if we get D is equal to GCD of A comma B, it will be true that D divides A and D divides B, yes, otherwise it will not be the divisor. So there is no question of being common divisor, there is no question of being greatest common divisor. But for all n in set of natural numbers, if n divides A and n divides B, then obviously n will divide D. Means this is nothing but another mathematical expression which tells us that D is the greatest common divisor. That is why if you are considering some other divisors of A and B which is common for A and B, they will also divide the GCD, obviously. And you can prove it by prime factorization or prime representation also. So it is the generalization of the fifth property. Now we are coming for the sixth property. These are important in the applications. Look at this, it tells us that GCD of A comma B comma C is equal to GCD of A comma GCD of B comma C. It means if you have to find out the GCD of three numbers, suppose 12, 15 and suppose 9, you know that it will be 3. Now GCD of 12 comma, first of all it is 15 and 9, you will get 3, and then 3 or 12 you will get again 3. So you can test it by taking any pair, any triplet of numbers, and you will check that it will be true. The seventh one tells us that if M is a number which is greater than 0, then GCD of MA MB will be M into GCD of A comma B, and this is the general structure what is written over here. So it is nothing but the taking common from these two numbers or these three numbers if and only if the number is greater than 0. Now proceeding further, the next one is GCD of A comma M is 1. What does it mean? That is A and M are relatively prime. Then GCD of M and A into B will be GCD of M into B, M and B, because M and A is 1, so it will not create any impact on the GCD of M and B. You can take any example and you can prove it very easily. This is also you can take as your home assignment. The next property tells us that if we take GCD of A and M is 1, again all the properties are related to co-prime, and if M divides A into B, then obviously M divides B, because M does not divide A. If M divides A into B, it has to divide B. These are very simple obvious observations, but it will give you a pleasure when you think about this and you can get the solution. Now next property is if GCD of M1 and M2 is 1 and M1 divides N and M2 divides N, then M1 and M2 obviously will divide N, because M1 and M2 are relatively prime. And finally the GCD of AB is the smallest positive linear combination of A and B, which is already stated and exhibited in the last slide. Now our second part of the class we will start, where we are doing some problems as a practice mode. So what is given? Here it is given that we have to prove GCD of A and A plus 2 will be 1 or 2. First of all, I want to mention one thing, that the GCD of any two numbers will be 1 or 2, it means that GCD, suppose D, will divide 2, means if the GCD is 1, then it is relatively prime, or if the GCD is 2, then we have to think for that we are going to take the divisors of 2, which are nothing but 1 and 2. So this observation is important and it will be clear after 2 or 3 minutes when we are going to complete the proof of this problem. So if we take it implies and D divides A plus 2. So if we want to proceed further, we can write that A is equal to M into D according to the divisibility theorem, and A plus 2 is equal to, suppose, ND. So M and N are nothing but some element from Z. Z means set of integers. So what we can write? ND minus MD is equal to A plus 2 minus A. So D into N minus M is equal to 2. So from this, what conclusion we can take? That D divides 2. Now if D divides 2, then what are the available cases we can get? That D will be equal to 1 or D will be equal to 2 as D divides 2. Now what is the thing we have taken as D? That the GCD of this A comma A plus 2, and we got from this very simple 4-line calculations that D will be either 1 or 2 for every integers A, obviously for every integers A, and we will claim that this problem is done. Only one question is there, that from this line D into N minus M is equal to 2, how we can claim that D divides 2? It may be the case that N minus M divides 2, but think about it, you are getting two numbers whose product is 2 and M and N are coming from set of integers. So there is no question of any fraction. So N minus M will also be one integer. Now N minus M can't be 0 because M and N can't be same, because M and N if same, then A is equal to A plus 2, so A is 0. So 0 comma 2, the GCD is not the question over here. Now if there are some different integers, then N is greater than M, and what we see that this is going to be one integer and D is another integer, which is obviously our GCD of this, assumed GCD of this problem, which is under multiplication gives you 2. So D obviously divide 2. Clear? Now if we proceed for the next problem, what we see, Yes, we have first of all one if condition that GCD of a comma b is 1, and then we have to prove GCD of a plus b comma a square plus b square minus ab is equal to 1 or 3. We will prove it in the same manner. I just want to make you emphasize that if I have to prove that it will be 1 or 3, then we have to show that d divides 3, then only d will be taking the form of 1 or 3. This is our target, that d will be dividing 3. So we have to write that d is something 3 into this. Clear? Okay. So let us start it from this part. D divides a plus b, as we are assuming that this will be the GCD will be d, and d divides, okay, so from this line we can write as d divides a plus b, so obviously d will divide a plus b into a plus b, a plus b into m, any m it will divide. So we are taking a plus b along with a plus b, and d divides a square plus b square minus ab. I am keeping it as it was. Now we can write it in this manner that as d divides this one and this one, d will divide the subtraction of this one also, which indicates d will divide a square will be cancelled out, b square will be cancelled out, there will be plus 2ab minus ab, so d will divide 3ab. So if d divides 3ab, it is your internal calculation that either d will divide 3 or d will divide ab, but we need d will divide 3, so we will show that d does not divide ab, then we can claim our d divides 3 will be justified. So how we will prove this? We will use this condition now. So look at this. What we can write, that as GCD of a comma b is equal to 1, that means they are co-prime, it follows that from the properties of GCD, which was already discussed, GCD of a plus b comma ab will also be 1. This property we are now going to use to claim this one. It is our again internal calculation. D does not divide AB. If I want to show, that means I want to show that GCD of D comma AB is equal to 1, means they are co-prime. It is our target to show. Then we can write from this that there exists U and V from Z, obviously, such that U into A plus B plus V into AB is equal to 1. This is the representation of GCD. So proceeding further, we can write as D divides A plus B, we got it over here, we can write A plus B is equal to D into P. So here we can write U D P plus V A b is equal to 1. The next line is the most important line. We can write up into d plus v into ab is equal to 1, from where we can claim that d and ab are two numbers which can be written as up from z, v from z. So linear combination of d and ab here gives you 1, means GCD of d comma ab is 1. So this indicates that d divides 3ab and d does not divide ab together with these two. That means this 1 and this 2, this 1 and 2 together with implies d divides 3. So d is having two options only, 1 or 3. So it is completely a logical approach to prove all these types of problems. Now another problem I am going to show, that if a is prime to b, what does it mean? The same thing, GCD of a comma b is 1, that means they are co-prime. Then we have to prove that a square plus b square is also prime to a square b square, means our target is to prove that GCD of a square plus b square comma a square b square will be 1 if GCD of a comma b is 1. So it is not also a very tough problem to show, because if GCD of a comma b is 1, then we know that GCD of a square comma b square will also be 1. This implies we can write that there exists u and v in z such that u a square plus v b square is equal to 1. Now adjustment will be started. U a square minus v a square plus v b square minus v a square plus v a square to adjust is equal to 1, because I am taking v a square extra and I am subtracting v a square from this. But what we can write, a square u minus v plus b square plus a square into v is equal to 1. Again look at the representation. We can write it as u and v are coming from z. We can write it that GCD of a square comma b square plus a square is equal to 1. Equation number 1. Again by the same technique we can start it from a square u plus b square v is equal to 1. The next line we can write that a square plus b square u plus b square v is there, u is added, so u will be subtracted, is equal to 1. This implies GCD of a square plus b square comma b square is equal to 1. It is our equation number 2. So first equation tells us that a square plus b square is prime to a square. Second equation tells us that a square plus b square is prime to b square. So both of them togetherly saying to us that a square plus b square is prime to a square b square. So ultimately we got our target achieved, that GCD of a square plus b square comma a square b square is equal to 1. So we have stated a lot of problems and their general approach to prove them is done, but students, I want to say that you must think for verification of all this. That is why in this assignment I am giving little number of problems which is little bit higher than the problems in the previous assignments. So you have to solve each and every of them so that you will be confident on all the calculations. So in this already 3 problems I have solved, and this one is also solved by me. You have to solve the others. So these are the references I have used for construction of this one. And finally, I want to thank you all for this patience present. Happy listening, happy learning.